What's going on, guys? Today, we're gonna just. What do you think it is? I'm gonna be predicting UFC 308. Let's just get into it. Renat Fakretinov versus Carlos Leal. I don't know much about Carlos Leal, but I do know that he was a PFL fighter, and from what I've heard and seen on, the interwebs and whatnot, he's a he's on roids. I mean, the guy's got heavy hands. He hasn't been subbed. He's fought pretty good competition. I'm still gonna go with Renat Fikretnov because he's not the kind of guy you can just show up and beat. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna go with him just because I've seen more from Renat that would make me trust in him to get it done, rather than Carlos Leal, who's missed weight at 170 and is now coming in on short notice to get it done. I don't know. I can't trust Carlos Leal to show up and just win, but Renat has a win over Dalby and Brian Battle. I mean, those are good wins. Subbed Kevin Lee in a minute. Like he's kind of got he's kind of got really good wins. And Leo's taking on short notice. I don't know. I just can't trust Leo to get it done, so I'm gonna go with Renat Fakretnov by unanimous decision. I'll take a decision. Carlos Leo doesn't seem easy to finish, so I'll just say decision. Next up, Farid Basharat versus Victor Hugo. I'm going with Victor Hugo if I'm going to be honest. The thing about the Basharats is that they're good, they're undefeated, but I feel like people were more high on Javid, and we saw Javid get kind of picked apart in the second and third rounds by Ayman Zahabi. I don't think Farid's as good as Javid on the feet. I mean, they both got a decent ground game. I mean, they both got a really good ground game, I'll say. No, I'm not going to be decent. I'll say really good ground game. But Javid is better on the feet and lost to Ayman Zahabi. And Farid is not as good. And Victor Hugo is really he's a pretty good striker. He's got pretty good hands. And I mean, this guy is wicked jujitsu. I'm saying fucking wicked now. Holy shit. I'm like the MMA guru. Oh my god, I skipped over Bruno Silva, Ismail Nurdiev. Well, I guess we'll go back to that in a second. Fucking Jesus, my fault. But Victor Hugo, like his jujitsu off bottom is like really good. He's got really good sweeps. He's really good transitions. He's able to defend takedowns really well. He's able to get up. He's able to he's able to use his jitsu to end up in top positions against really high level grapplers. And I mean his striking is pretty good. He's got nice straight shots. He's got pretty good kicks. He went low a couple times against his last opponent, Pedro Falcao, but can't even be. You know what? It is what it is. It is what it is. And Farid, I just don't know how good his jiu-jitsu is. I mean, his only sub is Clayton Rodriguez. That's nothing special. And Victor Hugo, Victor Hugo, man, like I don't think he's getting sub. I think Victor Hugo could sub Clayton Rodriguez. Just can't. I went against him last time. The last time I saw Farid Basharat fight, and oh, that's the other thing too. He's really inactive. Like he fought in February against Taylor Lapilus, really kind of like slow fight. Not much happened, and he waited till October to return. I mean, in that time, his brother did lose a fight, but I mean, his brother who lost was about to return sooner than him. He was supposed to fight Chris Gutierrez in August. He was trying to return sooner than Farid. Oh, I mean, I guess Farid also did have a fight scheduled against, I think it was Montel Jackson. Yeah, he would have got sparked. He would have gotten sparked because we saw what Montel Jackson can do. But I don't know. I just don't trust Farid Basharat's striking and overall game. I think Victor Hugo can get it done. I think it's going to be a big upset. And I think that could push Victor Hugo to maybe a ranking, if I'm being honest with you. Oh yeah, Ismail Nerdiev versus Bruno Silva. I'm gonna go Ismail Nerdiev. Uh, yeah, I was gonna go Bruno Silva for almost all of this, but it's just I cannot trust him. I can't trust him. Like he's just taking so much. I mean, dude, he's getting dropped. He's getting dropped by. Oh, dude, you're getting dropped by Gerald Mearshart. You're getting sat on your ass by Brendan Allen. I mean, dude, Weidman is piecing you up. It's just hard for me to pick him in this situation, just based off of what I've been seeing recently. And Ismail Nerdiev, I mean, he kind of got cut a little early, but I think his return is a little early too, considering he's like what 2-3 in his last five. But he's coming off a win, and I just trust someone who's coming off one win more than I trust someone who's coming off three consecutive losses. And like, man, he was eating clean head kicks off Shara Magomedov. That's not good. I don't like seeing that. So I'm gonna go with Ismail Nerdiev. I'll probably say submission. I'll say submission. I don't know what round, but I'll say submission. Kennedy and Nzechukwu versus Chris Barnett. I'm going with Kennedy and Nzechukwu. I love Chris Barnett, but he's just fat. He is just really fucking big. I mean, he's 5'9" for a heavyweight against a 6'5" lean, athletic 205er moving up. And we know Kennedy Nzechukwu is chinny, but I mean, he had a big weight cut to get to 205. Think about it, he's kind of like in the same position as Johnny Walker. And I mean, his chin isn't even that terrible. I mean, sometimes he could just take big shots. I mean, he ate like 130 significant strikes against Carlos Olberg. So I just trust in Kennedy Nzechukwu to be able to just poke and prod at range, be able to circle out. I just be the more skilled fighter, and I just trust what Nzechukwu has to offer more. I mean, 8-inch reach advantage. That's an 8-inch height advantage too. Wait, really? Oh my god, Chris Barnett kind of has a crazy reach for his height. I didn't even realize that. They're the same ape index. If Chris Barnett and Kennedy Nzechukwu were the same height, they'd have the same reach. Oh wow. Sucks to be Chris Barnett. So it's literally the concept of Chris Barnett versus actual Chris Barnett. That's actually that's fucked up. This is the concept of Chris Barnett. It might be more like the concept of Kenny Nzechukwu versus actual Kenny Nzechukwu. Because he's getting fucking beat by OSP. Dude, how are you getting beat by OSP? That makes me really worried for this fight, because he's getting beat by OSP. But I trust in Kennedy Nzechukwu to get it done. Just by being taller, rangier, and more athletic. I think he can mix in grappling too. I think he's just going to beat him all around. Next up, Bruno Ferreira versus Abu Magomedov. I've been seeing a lot of people pick Abu Magomedov. I'm going to go with Bruno Ferreira. I mean, I mean, dude, Abu Magomedov has 2 wins in the UFC. One was a grappling smudge fest against Warley Alves. I mean, his 2 losses, I can't even be mad at him about his 2 losses because of what? Caio Borralho and Sean Strickland. Those are not bad losses. One is a former champion, and one is a currently top 5 fighter. I can't be mad at that. But Bruno Ferreira, I mean, his only loss is a TKO one against Nursultan Ruziboyev, who is, to be fair, is just infinitely better at 185. He's killing himself to make 170. I don't think he should do that anymore. I think he should just stay at 185. But man, he's got some solid wins. I mean, people are gonna shit on Phil Haas win because oh, Phil Haas is chinny. But I mean, Phil Haas as a fighter is good. So I'll give that win. I'm not gonna value the win because it was knockout, and it's like everyone's knocking out Phil Haas, and it sucks because Phil Haas is so fucking good. But his win over Gregory Rodriguez, that's an insane win. That is an insanely good win. And I mean, they both beat Dustin Stoltzfus, and Abu had just a better performance because he put him out in 20 seconds. But it's like Bruno Ferreira faced adversity and was still able to come back. So, I mean, they're both really explosive finishers. It's just when they start slowing down, who do I who do you think is gonna just grit down and really march forward and give it all they have? I think Bruno Ferreira is gonna be the one to do it. We've seen Abu crumble under pressure. We haven't seen that from Bruno Ferreira. We've seen him withstand the pressure and fire back. And when he's on the back foot and you're putting it on him, he'll fire back and he fires back hard. And if he catches you, you're going out. I mean that spinning elbow was brutal on Dustin Stoltzfus. He slumped Gregory Rodriguez out cold. Cannot trust Abu to do that. Cannot trust Abu to, really grit down under the pressure, grit down on the mouthpiece, just go to work when he's under pressure. I'm going to Bruno Ferreira. I'll say late round 1 TKO again. I don't think it's getting out of the first. Next up, Miktabek Oralby versus Mateusz Rebecki. Just because I absolutely adore my goat Mateusz Rebecki, I'm gonna go with him. Why? So I mean, I think I have a good reason, but like, I think when you have someone like Mateusz, I mean, he lost to Carlos Diego Ferreira, but I mean, he was kind of training for a completely different opponent. I mean, let me look. I think he had like 3 different opponent switch ups. Give me a second to look here because I I know that his original. I didn't. What the fuck? There it is. I know that his original opponent in that fight was not Carlos Diego Ferreira. I know he was. I know it wasn't. His original opponent was Joel Alvarez. His original opponent was Joel Alvarez, man. Like, that's a real hard switch up, especially since Ferreira is really good. So he was training for 2 completely different type of elite fighters. One is a tall, rangy, like dangerous kind of like kickboxer almost. That's really hard to that you have to really focus your time on a range because he's 6'3" and he literally has a 10-inch reach advantage on Mateusz Rebecki. And then you switch up to a smaller, more compact jiu-jitsu artist with good boxing and good jab, able to move on the back foot really well. Kind of it's kind of a completely different fight. And I think what he went in there and he kind of threw his game plan out the window because he's thinking, this guy's 39 and he's taking on short notice, so I'm just gonna run in there, swing an overhand, I'm gonna sleep him. Uh, we'll talk about why the fuck this is down in a second. And I think when you go through that experience of fighting that like elite fighter, I think that I just think that really starts to show like that'll really like show where you need to improve. And I think Rebecca's gonna be more focused than ever on like game planning, and I think he's probably gonna be worked on his cardio a lot. And I think he's probably hopefully I'm hopefully right about this. He's gonna stick with his leg kicks because this guy when he has fucking dirty leg kicks. I mean, this guy broke his foot on Luik Radzhabov's shin and was still throwing with the same leg and hurting Radzhabov. And people are gonna talk about the damn. I mean, we've seen Rebecca. He has a good shin. Carlos Ferreira didn't like beat him with like a power. It wasn't like a power thing. It was literally just Rebecca gassed bad against a Carlos Diego Ferreira who's 40 and somehow has really fucking good cardio. I don't get it. But he gassed hard. But when we've seen him, fine on the front foot, his cardio's looking decent. I mean, he's not really gassing. He's eating pretty big. I mean, Radjabov has heavy hands, and he was eating big hooks off of him. So I don't think it's gonna be the power that's gonna worry me because I know Rebecca has a good chin. But when we've seen Oralby, his win is against Medic, who said he didn't prepare for grappling at all and was defending takedowns. And Medic hurt him early. And sure, Orbai got him down, but I don't think he's going to be able to get Rebecca down because Rebecca's just so much shorter and I think it's going to be so much harder for Orbai to get in on the legs because of Rebecca's height. So I think Rebecca's going to be able to keep it on the feet, and when things start slowing down a bit, I honestly see Rebecca getting the takedown, if anyone. I mean, like, look at the difference in accuracy, 75% to 44%. I mean, Rebecca's attempted takedowns on all of his opponents. So I just trust what Rebecca has to offer more right now. I don't get why he's such a massive underdog. It doesn't make sense to me. Same thing with Bruno Ferreira being an underdog. That doesn't make sense to me either based off what we've seen, but I'm gonna go with a Mateus Rebecca win. You know what? I'd say a round 3 armbar. He does have a pretty crazy good armbar. So I think he can maybe catch Orbine like an armbar. And I think Orbine's just gonna be gas. And you know what I think it's gonna be? I really think it's gonna be Rebecca's gonna like Orbine's not gonna tap, but the arm is gonna break, and Orbine's gonna scream, and it's gonna be like I don't know, maybe Mark Goddard or Herb Dean in there, so they're gonna be like stop, 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 and they're gonna stop it there. So I don't think it's gonna be like a tap, but I think it's gonna be like a clear break, and Orbine's gonna like yell or something, or do his fucking fucking I don't know what is a what is it what's a caveman sound? He's gonna grunt like a caveman, and then he's gonna fucking the rest gonna be like stop, 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 stop. And then Orobai is gonna try to explain how he was just summoning a saber-toothed tiger to come in and snatch Rebecca from the cage. I don't know what I'm fucking talking about. Next up, Jeff Neal versus Rafael Dos Anjos. I'm going with Jeff Neal. Elite takedown defense, heavy hands. Dos Anjos is old. There's just Dos Anjos is the type of guy who's gonna wanna. If he can't get you down, he will try and trade with you. He was able to do it against Luque purely because Luque just isn't the same guy. This is the guy who fucked up Luque's life. He unironically fucked up Luque's life. Luque cannot fight the same ever again. Like he ruined Luque as a fighter. I mean, dude, He was cracking shot. He gave Vicente Luque a fucking brain bleed. He caused Luque's brain to hemorrhage. You know how fucking difficult it is to do that? Jeff Neal was the closest to causing a death in the octagon than anyone. I trust in Jeff Neal. He's had good performances against good fighters. He's got good hands. I trust in him. I think it's gonna be a brutal knockout. Ibo Aslan versus Rafael Sequeira. I'm gonna go with Ibo Aslan just because. Don't know much about Sequeira. I mean, I heard what Guru had to say about him, but he's 33. Aslan is younger. We know he's got heavy hands. I mean, he's knocked out every opponent he's faced. We don't know the type of competition Sequeira was facing. Aslan has some good wins. His opponent on the Contender Series is a pretty good win, and he's beat Robert Valentin, the Tough finalist, in a really good season of Tough, and a genuinely really good season of Tough. I just trust in Ibo Aslan more. Don't know much about Sequeira, so I can't say much about him, but I trust in Aslan, and I think he's probably might be on roids, but even if he is or isn't, do not give a shit. He's a pimp. He comes to throw hands. I fuck with this guy. Next, Shar Magomedov versus Armen Petrosian. I'm gonna go with Shar Magomedov. Armen Petrosian's not that bad. He's actually pretty good, but it's like Shar Magomedov isn't like as great as people are saying he's gonna be, but he's better than Armen. I think he's gonna be. He's got pretty. He's actually. I'm gonna say Shar Magomedov has really good cardio. Really good. I mean, to be able to kick that much for that long, that's really fucking impressive. And to think that within 1 year he's gone from is this his third fight this year? Is this his third fight this year? Because who has he fought? Oh my, yeah, this is his third fight this year. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, because there was the Saudi fight, the Saudi fight night. Uh, the Abu Dhabi fight night. Yeah, it was Whitaker Aliskerov, Sandhagen Umar, and then now in this one. Oh, this is his third fight this year. So I mean, in 1 year he's gone from like what early prelim opener to pay-per-view opener. But I just think that Petrosian's just not the same level of striker. I mean, he has some good wins over Christian Leroy Duncan, took his undefeated record, and Gregory Rodriguez. So, I mean, he is really good. I think Gregory Rodriguez now would whoop his ass, but I mean, I think Gregory Rodriguez beats Shar Magomedov, but he is really good. Oh my God, if Shara wins, do Shara versus Rodriguez fight night. That could main event. A RoboCop versus the Bullet fight night. That could main event. That could be a dope main event. Don't act like it wouldn't be. Don't act like people wouldn't be hyped up about that. That'd be a fucking dope main event. I digress. But I'm gonna go with Sharma Magomedov. I think he's just Petrosian but better. Petrosian's not 6'3". That reach is real though. Yeah, I just Sharma Magomedov is just better Armen Petrosian. Simple as. Next up, Lerone Murphy versus Dan Ige. Ooh. I don't know why I'm saying ooh like I haven't seen this fucking matchup for months and I deliberated on my picks. I'm going with Lerone Murphy. I just I don't think it's gonna be a bad fight, but Ige's equalizing factor in every fight is his power. And the thing is, I think Lerone Murphy's just one of these like English fighters who's gonna keep it technical on the feet. He's not gonna take a lot of risks. He's not gonna be out of position ever. His defense is gonna be sound. He's gonna, you know, there's not gonna be a lot of openings on him. and he's gonna be. I think he's gonna be using a lot of calf kicks, body kicks, and jabs. It's gonna be calf kicks, body kicks, 1-2s to the head and body. That's what the game plan is gonna be. And then once he's getting pressured up against the fence, he's gonna clinch. He's gonna knee to the thigh. He's gonna reverse, get on the fence, knee to the thigh a bit. He's probably gonna drop down, try to get a double leg. He's gonna fail. He's gonna elbow on the break, and then he's gonna go back, body kick, calf kick, jab, jab, jab to the body, 1-2 up top, calf kick, body kick. Iga's gonna pressure him along the fence, and then then fucking boom. Oh, they're back in the clinch. Knee to the thigh, knee to the thigh. Goes for the double, fails. Elbows on the break. Maybe knee to the body on the break. Shoves him off. And the times we've seen Dan Ige have success against these like kind of higher level prospects is is because they're so a lot of them are so much more explosive that they tend to gas out of it. They tend to gas out and slow down. Like Lopez with every audit with everything against Lopez really. He won the fight, but in that third round, he slowed down a lot, and Ige was really able to start taking over. If that was a 5-round fight, Ige would have won that fight. I mean, what else was there? I don't know. It's just when you have Ige will find success against guys who are good fighters, like just outside the rankings, like a Nate Landwehr, like the Andre Feelies. So like maybe like a who would he beat? Who's a good like just outside the top? Who's like a really hold on, let me pull up like the list of them. Because there's like a couple names that I think that would be like the type of fighters that Dan Ige just beats to like stay right in the rankings. Like an Alex Caceres. Okay, like a Damon Jackson. Probably like a Pat Sabatini, probably like a Chepe Mariscal. Uh like a Darren Elkins he could beat. Who else? Who else is there? Maybe not a William Gomez, just because Gomez is such a pussy. But probably like a Sadiq Youssef, I could see him probably picking apart at range. Who else? Yeah, those types of fighters. That's about it. And I don't think Murphy's like that type of fight. He's not like the most explosive. He's got good cardio. He's gone 5 rounds at a really high pace against Barbosa. He put it on Barbosa. So we know this guy's not gonna fade in a 15-minute fight. He's been the nail. I mean, we've seen him as the hammer against Barbosa, and we've seen him as the nail in moments against Gabriel Santos. So I'm gonna go with Lerone Murphy. I just think this is the type of fighter to beat Dan Ige. Oh my god. Lois. Okay. I said to myself, I'm gonna pick Alexander Rakic purely because his nickname is the Rocket, and I think rockets are cool as fuck. Now I lied about one of those things. I lied about it being only because his nickname is the Rocket. I did not lie that I'm picking Rakic. I'm gonna go with Rakic, honestly. These are crazy swelled up odds in the favor of Ankalaev, and that's like the type of thing that makes me confident in Rakic. I mean, Rakic is probably one of the he's really well rounded. He moves really well on the back foot. He's got really solid calf kicks. I mean, one of his only like I like to say he only has one legit loss in the UFC, and it's to I think it's to Jan Blachowicz. Or not Jan Blachowicz, Yuri. Yuri is the only one I consider a legit loss. I think he got robbed against Ozdemir, and he was beating. I mean, he was beating Blachowicz before he blew his knee out. And honestly, Ankalaev wasn't able to get Blachowicz down in the first 2 rounds. Rakic held him down the entire second round. I mean, we've seen Ankalaev get chewed up by calf kicks. We've seen him. I mean, dude, oh my god, I teeth rode against each other weird. But I saw like a 3-minute video of just 3 minutes straight of Ankalaev getting eaten up by calf kicks. And Rakic has good calf kicks and he's able to move on the back foot really well. Now, I don't think he has the most pop in a shot. He doesn't have heavy hands, really. But he's sharp, he's accurate, and I think he's going to be able to use good footwork to circle out. I think he's going to be able to defend takedowns against the fence. And I see him. I see 29-28 Rakic split decision. I think they're going to try and give it to Magomed Ankalaev. But I think Rakic is just going to make it clear enough. I think they're going to be the Dagestani fans are going to be like, oh, robbery, Rakic didn't deserve it. Ankalaev, of course they rob Ankalaev, so he doesn't have to fight. So Pereira doesn't have to fight him, and he gets another kickboxer. But I think Rakic is going to get it done by split decision. Whitaker versus Chimaev. I'm listen, Kant. Bobby Knuckles. He's going to go out there. He's going to fuck him up. I don't know if that's a good Aussie accent. I think I started well, and then like the end of it, I was like, ugh. But I'm going with Robert Whitaker. We know Whitaker. Chimaev is just. We now know that he slows down. And recently we know when he slows down hard. And you know what? I don't think Chimaev's gonna ragdoll Whitaker as easy as people think. I mean, Whitaker has good footwork. I think he's gonna be able to move back really well and defend the takedowns. He's got he scrambles really well. He's able to get back to his feet well. It's really hard to keep a dominant position on him. Like what? Who's kept one? The only one who's kept one on him is Dricus du Plessis. And we now know how good Dricus is. I mean, Dricus is the fucking champ. I mean, come on. Uh, and even then, it's like Dricus is just like freakishly strong. And I don't think this is a Robert Whitaker 2 camps straight he's had for Hamzat. His wrestling defense is gonna be on point. He's not gonna be just he's not gonna be surprised by it's gonna be on point. He's gonna be ready for everything. And I think once it hits those third and fourth rounds, because this is a 5-round fight. This is a 5-round fight. I remember when Leon versus Nate Diaz was one of the first non-main event, non-title fight 5-round fights. We're getting them all the time now. And thankfully, this is a 5-round fight. Because I think that's where Whitaker's going to thrive. Once it hits those third and fourth rounds, I think Whitaker's going to be putting it on him. And I think in that 5th round, I think Hamzat's going to barely survive the 4th. And in that 5th round, man, it's just going to be too bad for him. And I think Whitaker's just going to be able to put him out. I think the 1st round and the 2nd round is going to be rough for Whitaker. I think he'll probably find more success in the 2nd than the 1st, but 3rd, 4th, and 5th, I think he's gonna have a field day. I think it's gonna be all Robert Whitaker, and I'm going with Bobby Knuckles, 5th round TKO, stemming from a head kick. I think it's gonna stem from a head kick. Finally, Max Holloway versus Ilia Topuria. I've been so torn on this one for so long because I just don't. I've been so torn because of just it's a style fight, and Ilia's got good pop. I think he could hurt Holloway at moments. Holloway's coming back down to 45. But honestly, I think that I'm gonna pick Holloway. It's a really hard decision to make because the longer I've thought about it, the more of a 50-50 coin flip fight this is. But I'm gonna go with Holloway because we've seen Ilia win fights at decision and go the full 5 rounds, but we've seen the fight fought at his pace. We've seen him set the tempo. We've seen him control everything, control every aspect. We've never seen Ilia go 5 rounds at a higher pace than fucking Josh Emmett winging three fucking big meaty hooks. Big meaty hooks. Ringing three big meaty hooks and then fucking Ilia just covering up and like sliding back, blocking, deflecting all of it. We've never seen someone put together just like just putting it on him, putting a pace that he might not be able to handle. Now I genuinely do think Topuria could knock him out just because it's probably going to be a harder weight cut and Ilia has fucking nasty power. Let's be real, he has fucking nasty power. But I just think Holloway's chin, it's not the same chin that he had where he's just able to walk through everything. But it's still the best chin of all time. And I think it's still gonna be able. I think he's gonna stumble. I think he's gonna be shocked. I think he's gonna go wide-eyed like he always does, where he's fucking staring you down, and he looks like he's fucking is. It's like, wonder what the fuck he's looking at right now, because he's so wide-eyed when he gets in that mode. But I think he's gonna be able to withstand the power, and I think when the pressure gets put on Ilia, and you know what, those spinning body kicks he has, I think those are gonna add up. And if Max Holloway has game planned correctly, I think he's probably going to utilize some good leg kicks. And we know Holloway can eat a leg kick. I mean, he ate like so many throughout the game. It took till the 5th round worth of leg kicks where Gaethje was chopping away at least 5 times around. And Gaethje has nasty leg kicks. It took 5 rounds of chopping those leg kicks at Max for him to finally switch stances once. So I think Holloway, he's going to be able to use some of the his spinning back kicks. I think he's gonna be able to put a pace on Ilia that Ilia has to either match in order to win the rounds, or he's gonna have to drop Holloway to win the rounds. And I just see Holloway being able to hold up. And I see, Ilia. Hold on, I need to tell my friend that the card actually starts at 1 p.m. and not 2 p.m. Hold on. Ooh, that sucks for him. That really does suck for him. I feel really bad. But I just see Holloway being able, and it's like the experience difference against all these legends. He's fought at the highest level for so long. I think that he'll be able to utilize all the tools he has in his kit, and I don't think he'll be able to pull it off. I think Ilya's gonna get the first. I think Ilya's cardio is probably gonna hold up, but I think this is gonna really show if Ilya has that good cardio. Because we've seen Ilya fight as the hammer, we have not seen him go 5 rounds as the nail. So I'm going with Holloway. I think a 48-47 unanimous decision. I think 1 and 2, every judge is going to give Ilia. And then I think 3 through 5, I think 3 through 5, that's when Max is going to really make it clear. And really, I think he's going to really solidify a win in this fight in the third through the fifth rounds. So that's just my prediction. Uh, Tell me what you think. Bye bye.